Is that recording now?
Yeah.
Everybody stops talking.
All right, so tell me about the stove.
Well, let me, if you want me to tell you about the early times, let me start with where I was born. I was born in 1924 and lived in a French neighborhood, and the street had so many of my cousins there that used to be called, had two different names. One name was Incubator Alley and Mud Alley. Where I got its name from, Mud Alley, is Hayward Street was dug up from one end to the other to put in sewer pipes, and they had clay, and they dug down the trench, you know, in the middle of the road, about six feet down, to install the sewer system. And that clay was the most wonderful material that we kids could have. You know, it's like you go to a store today and buy modeling clay. This is what we had. And it was tons and tons and tons of this clay that we used to play with. It was so much fun.
Did that go on for a couple years?
No, it went on for a whole year. And we used to, when the workmen
Oh, it's just natural clay from the riverbed, probably?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
the lake.
From the glacier, when the glacier cut Lake Champlain open, you know, there was a sedimentation there that became clay, you know, a deposit. But when the workmen weren't working during the day, or at night, we'd climb in those pits and had a ball in and out of those, and we'd get all dirty and so forth. But we used to get dirty, and it was not uncommon for us to walk in all muddy, you know. There wasn't that much attention paid to cleanliness and neatness.
It probably was, but
when
you
I
as
was
a
that
child didn't realize what was going on.
But we had an awful lot of fun. And we didn't have toys, we didn't have TV, we didn't have any of the conveniences that are available today, so we had to make our own fun. You know. We used to take tin cans, and it was a way of taking a tin can and crushing it, and it would actually clamp onto the bottom of your shoe.
To walk on. Do you ever see that?
And you walk with these tin cans, and it made a noise, you know, clunk, 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 clunk. And we thought that was great fun.
Maybe that could be Mark's project.
And we used to...
Tin can shoes.
We used to have a game we used to call, well, it was like King of the Mountain, but it was done with cans on a stone. You set up a can on a stone about 20 feet away, and everybody would have a can, and there would be 8 or 10 players. Now, one person who was it had to set the can up on the stone.
Cookie, I can find it.
In the cookie jar.
Okay.
It had to set the can up on a stone, and each person would have a chance to knock the can off the stone with their can. And, well, once the can was knocked off, you could retrieve your can, which missed the stone. And that's kind of fun we made, you know.
Did you call that Duck on a Rock?
Duck on a Rock, yeah.
We played that
Yeah.
back when we went strawberry picking one time, and I remember that as the most fun game.
It was fun.
And I used to try to organize that all the time. Can we play Duck on a Rock? Can we play Duck on a Rock? I thought that was the most fun.
It's like playing, we played King of the Mountain, you know, on a snow pile, or on the earthen piles when they were doing all the digging for the...
But you always had a gang of kids because everybody was outside.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So you had a gang.
We played from time we got up in the morning till we were called in the night to go to bed, you know, at 9 o'clock. There was always kids on the street, always kids. You never had a loss with kids to play with, you know. And when the road was all finished and everything, we used to play stickball on the street. All kinds of tag games, and hide and seek games. And there's a lot of places where you could do that. You know. and made up your own fun, you know. And, it was so different then. I remember back when I was small, we had to wear in the wintertime long underwear, what they call union suits, you know. And union suit was one-piece garment, you know, that you'd climb into with your legs and put your arms in and button up the top front, you know,
Long
all the way
johns.
to that.
Did you wear that too?
Yeah. And
And had a little drop thing in the back?
yeah,
Mhm.
right.
You want to try to get stockings over those leg things.
Yeah,
You know, the first day they were nice and tight, but after you wore them a day or two, they'd loosen up. And you'd have to grab them and wrap them around
Right.
and try to put the seam in the middle.
But why did you have to wear them all the time?
well, because
It was
we
cold.
didn't have central heating in those days, you know. You were cold. You wore the union suit when you went to bed at night. You wore it all the time, you know, day and night, you know, for warmth. You know, in the wintertime, you couldn't wait until March to take that stupid union suit off. And once you had that off, you were like a bird released from the cage. It was such freedom that we had. It was really something to look back on today. Today, the less clothes that you have, the better. But those are times I think about once in a while when I see the kids having fun, watching children today. What a different life we lived.
And you wore
what they lived.
overshoes all winter.
Yeah,
You know, every day when you went out, you wore overshoes.
yeah.
And in the
what is that,
spring,
like rubbers?
yeah, rubbers.
Over
you
your
know,
regular shoes?
Over your regular
Yeah.
shoes. And when spring came and all the ice melted and everything, and everything dried up, there'd be one day, it would be around Easter time, that you wouldn't wear your overshoes. And it was such a feeling of freedom to walk and to hear your shoes on the pavement, you know, just your ankle shoes without these high overshoes.
Wow.
So, you know, your long leggings weren't all that bad. What was it, you used to wear the, what do you call
The
those?
tights?
The tights,
Yeah.
right.
Well, we had undershirts, and when Jennifer was little, I looked to buy undershirts, and there are no undershirts anymore.
No?
And I said
Even for
I
babies,
said
huh?
to Ann Platt down the street, because she had Lizzie, I said, do girls wear undershirts anymore? She says, no, they don't wear undershirts anymore.
Yeah.
No undershirts.
They had for babies, remember these little wraparounds? And they had two ties, and they would wear that in a diaper. Don't you remember seeing
Yeah,
that?
but I'm talking about a little girl just under a shirt.
Oh, under
Yeah.
her clothing.
You know, we grew up wearing an undershirt.
Right.
Yeah. I don't
Standard-
remember that,
standard
isn't it
equipment.
funny?
And I
Because
used
today,
to,
who
and I
would
used
wear
to
an
say to you,
undershirt?
you know, back in probably April, I'd say, can we take the undershirt off? Do I have to wear an undershirt today? And you'd say, no, it's warm enough. You don't have to wear an undershirt.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I loved that. But that was just my own version. And
So you
kids
had a little
don't even
taste of that.
kids don't even do that anymore.
No.
I was telling you the story before about the kitchen stove. We had a kitchen stove, and it was you could use coal in it or wood to heat. And that was the cooking stove in the kitchen, and it was a big black stove, and it had on one end of it, it had what they call a reservoir that you would fill with water. And that was the water you would use for bathing or whatever you wanted to use it for.
How much did that hold?
It'll hold probably five to maybe 5 or 6 gallons of water. And you would use
Did you have a tub in your house?
we had a tub in the house, but we had no plumbing hookup to it. You had to put water in it, you know, hot water to use it. But
You want to come out, Chippy? Can you slide that door open?
yeah.
Wants to know if there are any leavings here.
What's happening?
How you doing?
Oh yeah, this
So-
stove.
okay.
The stove. I remember my mother used to get up. We had another stove in the living room, which was a kerosene stove, and between those two stoves, that was our heat for the apartment that we had. And my mother used to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go into the kitchen and start the fire in that kitchen stove, so that when we got up for school, there would be some heat in the kitchen. And we'd come into the kitchen and we'd bring the chair right up next to the stove, and we'd put our feet on the edge of the stove there to warm up because we were cold. You know, our bedrooms were ice cold. They had blankets and everything else piled on to stay warm because there's no heat in there in the bedroom. You'd let the fire in the living room die down. It was a coal stove, you know, and you wouldn't fire it up for heat. By the time 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning came, boy, you better make sure you had enough quilts and garments on top of you to keep warm.
But you probably had another body in the bed too.
Yeah, right. As soon as you jump out of bed, you run into the kitchen. Unfortunately, Mom was there. She had that kitchen stove going, so that we could get dressed in the kitchen, actually, next to the stove, so we'd go to school.
So how often would you say you took a bath in the winter?
Well, we didn't take a bath very often. Our bath was really a sponge bath. You had a washcloth and a pan. And, well, my sisters used to wash me when I was small. You know. My older sister Hannah, and eventually Margaret. You know, it would be in the kitchen most of the time. It'll be Friday night or some night during the week. You know, after dinner. This time you gotta have a bath. You know, you're starting to smell.
Mom, how often did you have it at
Well,
boarding school?
We had once a week.
Once
We
a week.
had Friday was bath day, and we had a whole list. You know, what time was your bath, and yeah.
Imagine the
And you were
difference.
lucky if you got the fresh water, right?
Oh, it was all fresh water. Oh, you
Oh,
know,
I thought you had to use somebody else's.
Oh, heaven, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
absolutely not.
Just-
No, you just, the person who had just had a bath before you was responsible for cleaning the tub and leaving it clean, and then you came in, you ran your own bath water. But I remember one of the teachers one day, we were in study hall or something, and there were some outside students there, and somebody came up to her and said, "Sister, could I go and take my bath now?" And she said, "Yes." And then later she said to us, "You know, you shouldn't talk about your bath as though it's such a rare occasion." You know, can I go take my bath now?
Yeah. Well, can you imagine?
But, you know, with 40 girls, there had to be some organization.
Mm-hmm.
And there weren't that many tubs.
When I compare that,
But in my house, we always had a bathroom with a bath. And
Running water.
Oh, yeah.
see, we didn't have any hot
And
running
heat.
water.
Regular heat.
Regular heat.
Yeah.
The only thing you had in the kitchen was the cold water faucet. No running hot water, ever. We had a tea kettle on the stove that would heat water. And
Well,
my
you say
mother
no
used
one,
that for tea or whatever.
no one ran the hot water because there was no hot water.
There was no hot water. So
You must have been constantly filling up that
Just-
that
yeah, of
vessel
course.
that you had in the stove.
when you use it, you replace it with cold water.
How long did it take to heat up?
Well, when the stove was running, you know, it was constant. As long as you had the kitchen stove running, but with hot coal, you know, it would heat up the reservoir. It's all part of integrated into the system. But just can you imagine, you know, what it must be like never having hot water, ever running hot water. Now I take a bath every day of my life. Every day of my life, hot water at my disposal. What a luxury that is. It's unbelievable, unimaginable. And soap, you're so picky, you pick out the kind of soap you want. Now, the soap that we had was soap that was like brown, yellow soap.
No name on it?
I think it was Octagon.
Octagon or something.
And
But, Dad, your household was almost like a generation
Generation back?
back from ours.
Because you were poor.
Well, and because his parents were much older. His parents were the age of my grandparents, really. And Dad was at the end of a long line of children, you know. But he tells me about things that I did not live with, you know.
Did your parents know Mom's grandmother?
I knew of her, and she used to bake the pies over at the
What was the name of that store?
I can't think of
Yeah, it was a
it.
grocery
King Street.
in the neighborhood. She made all the pies. She made wonderful pies. And she also baked pies for the ferry that went across to Plattsburgh.
Is that the Ticonderoga?
Yeah.
There were two. Ticonderoga and then Chateauguay.
Right.
Ferries.
Hers could have been the Chateauguay. I remember her talking.
Did she bake them at her house or did she bake them there?
Well, she would on the boat. She would work on the boat. Yeah.
Did you taste them?
Oh, we used to go to, what is her name? I keep thinking Flynn's, to that store, and we'd buy my grandmother's pie.
You would buy them?
Yeah.
She couldn't
I
give
mean,
them
we
to you.
knew. Oh,
She
I
couldn't
guess.
like sneak you a piece or something? I mean,
Oh.
could you go for a piece?
No, she would have given them to us, but, we didn't come in contact that often,
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't go to her house and say, do you have a pie?
Right.
We'd go to the store, and we knew we were going to get a good pie,
Right.
because she baked them all.
Right.
I used to do errands for some of the elder people on the street, and there was one woman, her name was O'Toole, and she liked me, and I used to do various jobs around. I used to beat her carpets, on a clothesline to get the dust out of the carpets, and
This is like Saturday Evening
And
Post, the covers.
I would bring some of our tomatoes over and sell them to her, from our garden, and I had several customers like that, and she used to
Was
send
she
me-
up on the hill?
No, she was up on St. Paul Street, but she used to send me over to that market where Doris's grandmother